So I wanted to go through my settings real quick on my XLX2. So I'm gearing up to do a speed run later today with my Limitless with the 1721 2400 kV motor. I've never ran this motor before, ever, so I've been doing some research on how exactly to set up my ESC and learning from other people the way they did it, so I can kind of try to figure out how I should do it with this setup. So everything you guys will see is basically things that I have learned from doing my own research and seeing what actually worked for other people who have ran this exact same setup. All right, I hope you guys can see the screen fairly decent. And we will start right at the top. The cutoff voltage is set on auto, and I set that at 3.1. The reason for that is when you run speed run cars, you will never actually run the battery out. You're gonna do a few passes and bring it in, go over things, look at your logs. So this cutoff voltage is more or less for voltage sag. So if I'm doing speed runs and my voltage sags down a little bit, I do not want my ESC to pull power back just because my voltage dropped a little bit. So I want to set this kind of low, a lot lower than I normally would, is if the battery would be actually ran out in something like a Basher Creighton or something like that. The BEC voltage I have set at 8.5, and that's going to be different for everybody, mainly based on what your electronics can handle. I know that my servo and my receiver, they all can handle 8.5, so I'm going to go with 8.5. The brake amount, I'm gonna change that to 70%. I think it's a little bit too high at 100. Okay, so power, my start power is low. My max power is 100% with a 25% reverse. Kind of self-explanatory right there. So punch control, I have set at 50%, and that's mainly due to keeping the car stable and not brake traction. As my car is accelerating, by the time I reach 50%, the car should already be moving at a decent rate of speed that when it punches it, it's not going to spin out and lose traction or anything like that. So this number is a good number to play with, and just kind of seeing how your car reacts, whether you want to go a little faster or what. But between 40 and 60 is a pretty good spot to start. Advanced, there's nothing there. Okay, so the motor timing, I'm keeping it at 10. I know that you can go up higher to like 15, but that does create a lot more current and a lot more temperatures, a lot higher temperatures. So we're gonna start at 10. We could even possibly go to 5, but since we're geared so high, I think 10 is fine. And then the motor cutoff temperature is 180. Castle does say that these motors are fairly safe up until 200 Fahrenheit, but 180 is where I'm comfortable with it. So that's where I decided to put that, and that's mainly just to protect the motor. Okay, so throttle curve. So throttle curve is another thing that will help with launch control and help with traction and stability. As I'm giving it 50% throttle, I'm only at about 30% output. So you see that as I'm pulling it in, by the time I reach 50%, the car should already be moving fairly fast. And from there, everything over there is pretty much a steep line up to 100%. So you have that gradual start off, and then your car is moving pretty quickly, and then you give it all the power. And this is, when you first get it, it's just a straight line like that. and that's okay if you're bashing or just, you know, hooning the infraction around. But if you're trying to do speed runs and traction is important, you got to make this be more of a curve. And then brake curve, that's straight line. So everything else is pretty much stock. So like I said, I am new to this, so I absolutely do welcome comments if you guys have any tips or suggestions on certain settings that I should possibly change. But otherwise, we'll see later today on how it performs and see what numbers we can hit. We are shooting for 150, but thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a good day.